I am going to be now uploading my first video for the playlist that I created specifically for my channel, and it is going to be for the Why Blank movie is a masterpiece of blank genre, and this is a movie I already reviewed, Mad Max Fury Road, and for this it's going to be why Mad Max is a masterpiece of the action movie genre. And in this I'm going to be discussing the movie in depth, so there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch the film, because this is going to definitely be an in-depth analysis of the film. So yeah, anyway, as I said, this movie, in my opinion, revived the action movie genre after a long hiatus of lackluster action movies outside of the Bourne films. There really weren't that many great films. However, this movie has everything that the golden age of action movies had, and in my personal opinion, I say that the golden age of action movies was from the 1970s up to the 1990s. In any of those decades, you could trust that there was going to be a pretty dang awesome action movie coming to your theater in those decades. But we're not here to discuss that, we're here to discuss Fury Road. First off, here's the protagonist, Max, played by Tom Hardy, as he had to succeed Mel Gibson in this role, and he's still playing the same character. It's definitely not a reboot of the Mad Max franchise. It's a sequel. This movie takes place after the previous film, Beyond Thunderdome. He was just recast because Mel Gibson, you know, after all his rants and stuff, I'm pretty sure George Miller didn't want to recast him. But anyway, here's the first part of why I say he did such a great job and why this movie is a landmark. See this photo here of Max? This is him while he is he's in danger, he's in peril. One thing which I really haven't liked about modern action films is the fact that too many of the protagonists just feel like they just feel like they're superheroes, and they're not really relatable, and you don't really see him in danger that much. With Max in this film, he is in a constant state of peril, except he still has his badass moments. Like, there are moments where he beats the crap out of people, and there's one scene at the beginning of the film where a little mutated two-headed lizard runs right by him, and he just steps on it like that without even looking. And I was like, whoa. Plus, Tom Hardy doesn't even talk that much in this film. Max, he really doesn't speak that much. There's one scene where I'm pretty sure he spoke 3/4 of his dialogue. It was near the end of the film, and it's when Max is talking to the female warriors that Furiosa was a part of. And here's Furiosa. She's the one looking directly at us, with Max driving the car, or her little war rig. But yeah, anyway, Furiosa, and that's what kickstarts the plot of this film, is Furiosa works for the main villain, Immortan Joe, who is this man, the leader, and he is looked at as almost a religious-like figure, and he is definitely a villain that you don't want to fuck with. He just says so many lines which really, you can tell, he is someone who his followers respect, and nobody wants to cross him, with lines like mediocre and various others like that. And back to what I was saying about Max, yeah, he has to make such little lines work. Like, one of those lines is another part of this plot, which is, the world's gone to shit so bad that water has become a rare commodity. So when Max meets up with Immortan Joe's wives, because he has many wives in this film, I think he has 5 of them, he has a line where they're all drinking water from Furiosa's little rig, and he's all like, water, please, water. And such a simple line, but yet Tom Hardy, he makes it work. And he also has other lines too that he has to say, where he has to like say his name, because Furiosa wants to know who he is, because Max just randomly appears in front of her, and she's all asking him who he is, and he's all saying, my name is Max. And yeah, that's what kickstarts the plot, as I said before, was when Max meets up with these wives, and it basically starts up a whole chase with Immortan Joe and his followers. Like in this poster of the film right here, as you see Max looking up, and all those vehicles, those are all Immortan Joe's and all of his minions that are going after Max. And he has a few henchmen, like this badass right here, who is just playing the guitar while all this shit is going on. Definitely a big part of the soundtrack. And here's a brief little excerpt of the soundtrack. Really gets you in the mood. Really sets up the scenes perfectly. And overall, it's just really awesome. And here's a brief excerpt of when the guitar guy I showed you played. This is all him. This is all his music. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that was real awesome. And there's so many awesome fight scenes where you see Max and Furiosa and all the wives and the female biker gang that they tag along with near the end of the film, when Max meets up with them to defeat Immortan Joe's men. And yeah, there's just so many memorable scenes in this film. Like there's the scene where this guy called the Bullet Farmer, who has like a bunch of bullets all over his body, he's all just firing around going crazy like, I am going to freaking cause destruction and mayhem, and he's just shooting bullets off. And such a badass scene. Furiosa just grabs a frickin' sniper rifle because Max tries to shoot him twice, but he misses, and frickin' Furiosa puts the sniper rifle right on Max's shoulder and shoots him and blinds him right in his eyes. Such a badass scene. This movie also does something which I normally would get mad at in most action movies, but luckily it didn't. It shows Max walking away from the camera to go fight these other guys, and you see him walk back with blood that isn't his own. But with Max, I can understand it. I could just use my imagination, or you could probably just use your imagination on how he beat up all those guys. And normally in most action movies I get really mad at that, but yeah, just frickin', it was so badass. And I think this is a video that I'm going to have to film a second part on, because I still have barely touched the climax and a few other things. So be looking forward to part 2. Tune in for part 2 of this video. And peace.